So my favorite thing about working with Insight students is just getting to learn more about them and getting to know who they are as a person. One of the things that I really love that we get to do at Insight is we get to learn what each student is about and what they really care about. And not only that, we get to push them to try harder than what they think that they could have achieved. So I've had students just, across the board from all different areas, and just learning even their personal life, their family life, getting to know who they are and their story, and then getting to be a part of that story is just really cool. And getting to see them grow. I have students that I started working with as freshmen, and then getting to see them graduate as seniors, or even going off to college and coming back after college and telling me how much the things that they learned at Insight or through Insight in high school has really helped them even in college and beyond. So that's some of the favorite things that I really like about working with students. So one project I really got to be a part of was creating the high school seminar, or getting ready for high school seminar. So this was for our eighth graders who are entering into high school. One thing I really learned from it is just to think about the perspective of a student and how a student entering high school, like what that feels like. And I think a lot of times we're so far removed from it, we don't always think about it, or we start working with students when they're already entered in ninth grade. And so thinking about it from the perspective of an eighth grader, of just how exciting it is, but also how nerve-wracking it might be, and being able to offer students and parents, tips on how to make it less scary, right? And how to go in with a learning posture and with that excitement of, wow, I get 4 years to explore great things, and get to know who I am better, so that when I am applying for colleges, I'll know more about myself and I'll have things to write about in my college application. But also really thinking of it from the perspective of what a student is thinking about and what they're going through, and not just thinking about it from the perspective of what am I going to write on my college applications. And so that was one of the seminars that I've really enjoyed being part of, and also getting to create for families and for students. So when I started out at Insight, I knew that I wanted to have a career in education. I just didn't know what field. And so, as I mentioned, I did study early childhood education. I also, had worked with college students, mentoring them at UCLA for 3 years. So I knew, there are things that I can offer older students with the understanding that I have from early childhood education. And so I did a lot of things. And one of the things that I love about Insight is that we work as a team, and we also help each other grow. And so one of the things that was really helpful for me is being able to explore all the different avenues and ways that I wanted to grow and learn. And so, even becoming a counselor in the beginning was Purvi and Ajit asking me, hey, Jenny, would you consider being a counselor? Because we think that you have these specific skills that would be really helpful for high school students. And I thought about it and I was like, oh yeah, that definitely does work and it does make sense. And as I started working with high school students, I realized, like, wow, I do have all the skills that I've learned in the last, how many ever years I was there, or all the years that I've been there since graduating high school, really come in handy when I'm working with high school students. I think the one thing that I really see with Insight is that we see just like we see each student as an individual student that has potential and growth, we see each team member as an individual team member, and we see the ways that they can grow. And as a team, I know that we challenge each other, and I am challenged to say, hey, why don't you take the next step and do the next thing? Why don't we create something new? Why don't we build the things that we've already learned, build on that and grow something new? And so that's something that I really, really love about Insight. And that's a way that Insight has really helped my career, is just challenging me to take that next step, to grow and to do more and accomplish more. And not only that, but give more, right? Give more of myself, give more of my skills to one another as a team, but also to our students and the clients that we meet. So this year has been really interesting. I think that as a parent and as a counselor. So as I mentioned, I have a daughter who just started kindergarten, and I also have a son in preschool. And I've also been managing a full roster of students this year. And so having all of that, it's been good, just because I've been able to challenge myself and grow, but it's also been hard because I've had to navigate making sure my daughter is online for school, and not interrupting me in my meetings with my students. But one thing that I really appreciate is the support that I felt from the Insight team. So I know that even though we're all working from home, some of us go into the office every once in a while, but we're all in our own space, and we have to stay physically distant, and I think that's been hard, but at the same time we've been really supportive. So the regular counselor meetings, the regular staff meetings, where we can all get together and know, hey, we're not just doing this by ourselves, we're doing this with a team, and having that support has been really, really helpful. So one of the things I love about Insight is that our team is supportive, and I know I've probably said that a bunch of times, but we do have a really great supportive team where we want to see each other and support each other. And so that's something that I've experienced. Whenever we do have a meeting together, it has been good and kind of like a relief, because I know, hey, I'm not in this alone. I have people supporting me. The other thing is just being able to share my life to some extent with my students and my team, and having my kids walk in during meetings. It is frustrating at times, but then it's also a little bit endearing because we kind of realize, hey, life is not just work. Life is a bunch of things, and work is one of those things. And knowing that the family that I have at home is not just the family I have at home, but also the family that I have at work. And just being able to know that there is that camaraderie and that support that I really appreciate, and I know that I feel even when I'm here in my own home, in our office, rather than in our Insight office. Sorry. So the advice that I would have for students and parents during this time is to be flexible. And I think that we've heard it so many times, but I think being flexible really helps students and parents, myself included, grow and be able to withstand and have that grit of issues when issues arise. And so being gracious to yourself and knowing, hey, it's okay that I feel this way, but also looking forward and trying to be positive, to say, I'm flexible, I can grow in this journey, and I just need to be able to reach out and get the support that I need when I need it, but also being flexible to be able to withstand whatever is going to be coming next. So for parents, I think it's to be patient. So I think a lot of times we see our kids and we're like, oh, but this other kid is doing this thing and they started this thing, or my kid is just doing this and they're in their room all day. I think it's to be patient and allow your kid to go through each phase, like I said. So I think that's one thing. And I think the other thing is just to really stop and listen to your kids when they're speaking or when they're trying to talk to you, or listen to what they're trying to tell you, but also not just listen and say, oh, that's okay, honey, like you'll be okay. But also challenge them to say, hey, let's look forward together. What are some ways that I can help you? And ask them the question, what are some ways that I can help you, rather than telling them I can help you by me doing this. And I notice for my daughter, even who's 5, I know that's a lot different than a high schooler. If I stop and I ask her, okay, tell me what I can do to help you right now. Sometimes she says, I don't know nothing. Other times, she's like, I just need a hug, and it's something that simple. So I think that the two things that I would say is to be patient, and also to ask them what they need, your kids. Ask them what they need and see how you guys can meet in the middle, versus trying to always lead them into the next step.